Nobody will ever take me seriously after I make this video, but yes, Kung Fu Dino Posse is a show that exists. It is so obscure that the only person on YouTube who has reviewed it before me is Mr. Enter. The animation that you see really is that bad, which makes sense given that apparently it was made in 4 different countries, so I can only assume that making this show was absolute hell. It even comes off as a trouble production because one of the main characters is voiced by a different person in 3 episodes, who doesn't sound anything like the normal voice.
That's what you get for using a knockoff, Scrap! Sometimes you just gotta go with the brand name.
That's Score! And he's just using you to get the crystal from the champ's belt!
The lip sync being so off is fine, given that the show was originally in Korean and originally had Korean voice actors, but everything else does legitimately look terrible. And the fact that the first and only season of the show has 40 episodes, I think, is the main reason for that. And the final episode of that season aired in 2010, so the show's as good as dead. You know you're in for a treat of bad animation when the first minute of the first episode reuses the same shot 3 times, which probably drove away the remaining viewers who survived the intro. The intro of this show is the worst theme song I have ever heard. Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures in Planet Sheen have better theme songs. I'm not joking.
Some heroes are made, others are defrosted.
My gravy's naked!
It's loud, it's obnoxious, the singer sounds like Sonic the Hedgehog peeking the microphone, and even goes into a weird rock opera sort of thing near the end for like a second. It's a mess. After the intro in each episode, the show has title cards, which are a nice touch and tell you that the show was made by the same person as Magnum P.I, which I don't watch, but my parents do, so that's kind of funny. How do you think he even pitched this show to studio executives?
I just had a $1 million idea. It was so good, it was something like...
So you know how dinosaurs are awesome? Yes. And you know how, like, Kung Fu is awesome? Well, what if we, like, made a show that combined the 2 of them? That'd be great. That'd be great. It would go on, and everybody would love it, and it would run forever. Like The Simpsons.
Why, you little...
I know it sounds like I hate the show from everything I said before, but actually no. I think it's really fun to watch. It's not good, don't get me wrong, it's terrible. But it's one of those things where it's like so bad, it becomes enjoyable. And the show doesn't expect you to take it seriously at all. It has no problem making fun of itself.
But what I don't get is how you know Kung Fu.
We've got cable!
And it's not trying to tell a compelling or amazing story. It's just trying to be funny, and I'm way more lenient when judging something that's just trying to be funny and succeeding at being funny than I am at judging something that's trying to be impactful or meaningful or have a great story, but utterly fails. So, yes, that means Kung Fu Dino Posse does its job better than Hell of the Boss. Isn't that funny? And I mean, from an analytical perspective, the characters in this aren't strong enough to carry a meaningful story anyway, so whatever. Each of the main cast can be described using 1 or 2 words. You have Edgar the Nerd, Lucy the Woman, yes, that's her entire character.
I can't take it. Why do guys have to be so gross?
Chow the dumb guy who eats, Jet the asshole, and Kane, the leader, who also happens to be racist.
Dinosaurs are amazing.
And they are the superior life form on the planet. Go on.
And then there are the villains, Score and Scrap, who are the best characters in the show, hands down. Sure, you've seen the trope of evil villain and his idiot henchman time and time again, but I mean, it's a trope for a reason. It's funny in most cases, and it's funny here, so I don't really care. The show basically uses them as a means through which to get comedy. It doesn't even really take them seriously at all. Like, even Score, who's meant to be the bigger, badder villain, is just like a Doofenshmirtz type character, where he just has stupid plans and does stupid stuff all the time.
How could we have been so stupid? He put his picture on every single container!
He also sounds like Cortex from Crash Bandicoot, and I like that.
My daughter, niece! We must do something. That guy really really has it in for modern technology.
He even has an obsession with getting crystals like Cortex, because he has a gun that he can then use to free dinosaurs that he trapped within the crystals to protect them from the Ice Age. Yes, this explanation is convoluted and it doesn't make any sense because of the fact that some of the crystals, when he hits them with the gun, just sort of merge with whatever's nearby. And obviously he wouldn't be able to make mutant dinosaurs based off of people who wouldn't be born for millions of years, so like, what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. But also, it's Kung Fu Dino Posse. I don't care and you don't care, let's be fucking honest.
The molecules in the crystal are combining with the nerd's DNA to make a nerdosaur!
Although the Kung Fu Dino Posse can all fuse together into this personality-less combosaur is what it's called, which is just a giant thing that they can use for fight scenes to weaken the dinosaur before they shoot it with this thing called a fossilizer, which turns it into a tiny fossil. And I just have to say, I'm pretty sure the combosaur just exists for budget cuts since they only have to animate 2 characters during fight scenes. But the good thing is, even though a lot of episodes do have that whole thing with the crystal and the combosaur, the show does start to move away from that as it goes on. You can feel the writers getting more comfortable. Even Edgar starts to appear less and less as the show goes on, which is kind of weird because he's one of the main characters. He doesn't get fully absent though. The show doesn't forget him, but he does appear less often. But the characters that the show does forget are like this woman named Polly and her grandfather, who's the museum curator. They're barely in the show. They still exist. Edgar, in fact, has a crush on Polly, but like, they add nothing and they're barely in the show. The only side character who really adds anything is this old lady called Agatha Dimplecorn, who's just crazy old lady, but, you know, the jokes they do with her are funny, so once again, I don't really care that it's a trope. Ultimately, the comedy is really the most important part of this series, and it's what the series does best, so that's a good fit for it. But yeah, I do think you should just give the show a shot for yourself to see what you think. There are a couple other things I want to talk about right before I end this video, and I can't think of a smooth transition, which is kind of funny because one of these things is the fact that there are transitions in the show, and they're really weird and jarring, and sometimes they're just put in the middle of scenes when there didn't need to be a transition at all. It's so strange. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that one of the episodes isn't actually uploaded by the official channel, and I think I know the reason why, because it had to be uploaded by someone else so I could watch it, and I think it's just that it has this specific line.
The Berniesaurus has a shoe fetish. Who knew?
This show is a fucking masterpiece.